Hey guys, welcome to Lord of the Vets, where I do the research so you don't have to. This week, a truly magnificent and unique thing happened at work. Let me tell you all about it. It went a little something like this. Hello? I'm sorry? What has escaped? One moment, please. Hey, Kiwi vet, do we have a tranquilizer rifle? What do we need a tranquilizer rifle for? This guy says something has escaped. What has escaped? Just a second. Sorry, what has escaped? He says it's an African ostrich, and it's a really large African ostrich. So we're just on the way to possibly tranquilize an ostrich. So you might be asking, what am I thinking right now? I tell you what I'm thinking right now. A few things. One, could this ostrich ram this gate over and flatten me to the ground and stomp on me? The other thing I was thinking was, can he peck my fingers through the gate? Well, my fingers were sort of wrapped around the outside of the gate. And the dude who owned the ostrich was saying, hey, like, don't worry, they don't have teeth. And I tell you what, I have been bitten by many things that don't have teeth, and it still hurts. It definitely hurts. I was bitten by a hawk. One of the wildlife vets told me, like, look, get control of the hawk's talons. That's what they use as their weapon, their beak, no problem. They're not gonna bite you. As soon as I grabbed this hawk, do you know what it did? It chomped down on my finger like it was a freaking sausage with its sharp as beak, and it flippin' hurt. So I couldn't even imagine the damage that this ostrich could do with its foot-long beak into my fingers. So you know what, I was dancing my fingers back and forth, keeping them a moving target, because I was anticipating that snake-like neck to strike out like a viper and bite my fingers. I tell you what, pushing an ostrich for an hour using gates is it's a truly unique experience. I am happy we didn't have to tranquilize it. Now, the reason, you might be wondering, why didn't we just knock it out, carry it in? Look, ostriches are very difficult to tranquilize because, well, one thing is they have this long neck which you have to keep control of, and if it gets, you know, kinked or bent in the wrong way, it can actually cause an airway obstruction. And birds in themselves are actually quite fickle when it comes to anesthesia. There's a lot of risk. So we decided to minimize the risk to the bird and maximize the risk to ourselves by keeping it awake and using this sort of riot police strategy of, there's about 4 or 5 of us in the end that got gates, and we encircled it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And well, I have to say it went much better than I thought it would. The bird had some wounds. You might be able to see on its leg. It did actually injure itself. Now, the way it got out is, I think it might have been having a bit of a tussle with its mate in there, and it wanted to get out, and it ran up the fence. So it actually used one of the there was a small post in front of one of the fences, and it ran up the post and then ran up and over top and sort of front flipped over top of the fence and got out. And these things are dangerous. They can kill a person easily. They've got huge talons on their feet. So we were very aware that there was a lot of risk, especially if it had got out and, you know, a cyclist or a kid or someone's going past and it just tramples them. So we had to really get it back in. Worst case scenario, it might have run out onto the street. And in that case, we definitely would have had to tranquilize or shoot the poor bird, because it would have been a real risk to the public. So praise the Lord, we got to push this thing back where he belonged, in his enclosure there with his mate. So happy days.